What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Between the Lines podcast. I'm your host, Shania Trotter, and this is where we explore the deeper meanings of our favorite anime, manga, and honestly, whatever media I like at the time. So today I want to talk about Nana. Last week we were discussing Shoji and Nana K's relationship, so I want to continue from there. So if you haven't listened to the first episode, go ahead and do that first. We basically touched on everything that happened before Nana K got to Tokyo. And remember, this is a nuanced and mature take on Shoji and Nana K's relationship. So if you're somebody who's just like, oh, Shoji's the devil and Nana K did nothing wrong, this is not the podcast for you. As Ayazawa stated herself in one of her interviews, she does not believe anybody is 100% bad or 100% good. And that is the take that I have when I analyze these characters. And so everybody has complexity. That's why I love this manga, right? So what I said last week was, we're going to debunk some of the things and honestly misinformation that's being spread in the fandom, even just about Shoji, right? It's okay to not like a character and just let it be that, like, hey, he cheated. I don't like him because of that. That's valid. That's fine. But some of the stuff that I've seen people say, oh, Shoji threatened to grape Nana K. Shoji's a master manipulator. And I'm like, okay, that's never been their dynamic. Like, yes, we can say that, he withheld information about Sachiko. We can say that, he cheated. We can say all of those things. But we cannot say that, oh, he's a master manipulator and that's just always been their dynamic, or, oh, he seriously threatened to grape Nana K and he's just the worst person in the world. That's just not true. And he's literally not even written that way. He's not perfect, just like anybody else in the manga. He did make mistakes, but he is not written to be the most evil person in the world. Actually, no one in this manga is. Yes, no one is, okay? That's literally how Ayazawa writes. Same thing for Nana K. She did get cheated on, and that was not her fault. But she was also not the best girlfriend either. Just is what it is. They both contributed to the failing of their relationship. So that is the take that we're having when we're analyzing them, showing that they're both two young people. Okay, they still had a lot of maturing to do and a lot of learning to do, a lot of life seasoning needed, and so they both fucked up on different occasions. But we're not blaming Nana K for getting cheated on, and we're not condoning Shoji's behavior, but we are showing that they are both flawed human beings. And also showing that they both have similarities when it comes to, how they navigated that relationship. And at the end, how they both, they regretted how they dealt with each other in the end. So me personally, I am a firm believer in the fact that I do not think that Shoji and Nana K should have got in a relationship in the first place. I feel like, yes, they both, have feelings for each other. They want to do stuff with each other. That's fine. Y'all two grown, consenting adults. Leave it at a hookup, because they both were not mature enough to be in this type of relationship, like a serious one, long distance. And then, her coming, like just the way she went about it. And I say Nana K, how she went about it when it came to going to Tokyo, just was not smart at all. It could have went better if she actually did the things that she said she was going to do. Because when they were in that hotel room and he was like, here's the thing, Nana, I do want you to go to Tokyo. This is after, now they both know that they have feelings for each other. Because at first, Shoji was thinking that, okay, she's really putting me in this friend zone. She's trying to have me as a replacement for Junko. But then after it finally came out that, oh no, she has feelings for you, she has a crush on you. And then Nana K found out that he had a crush on her. So now it's like, okay, well, I do want you to go out there, but it's not going to be easy with me. He was literally saying, like, I don't got no money. I'm not going to be able to provide for you the way that, you may want. It's going to be hard dealing with me. It just is what it is. So just, be aware and be in the know that this is all I got. Take me as I am. And she, she was okay with that. She accepted that. Then she was like, okay, cool. Well, how about I just work out here in my local area and then I save up money to go out there. Like, if you get into the university, I'll come to Tokyo too. And she says, I will be fine on my own when I come to Tokyo as well. I can find a job and work hard too. Okay, so at that point, Shoji's like, okay, cool. Because that sounds like a win-win. Like, okay, cool. Like, I get into the university, you get your own place out here, you get a job. Now we're all just living out there and we Gucci. That was the plan. Okay. Now a year goes by, and then this is where at the beginning of the anime we see that he texts her, tells her that, oh, guess who passed their test? And we see she literally quits her job on the spot, and then just hops on the next train out. Mind you, he tells her in the text, yours truly has successfully been accepted into an art university. Yay. Call me when you finish work. That's what he said. And what happens? The first call he gets is her telling him, oh, I'm packing up. He's like, what? I'm packing up. Oh, I'm coming to you. Mind you, no communication about like, hey, actually, let's wait until you save up enough to where you got a place to stay. Like, no plan. It's just, again, this is why I say this was her excuse to get her ass out there to Tokyo, because she was so deathly afraid of being alone. Like, that's one of Nana K's biggest fears. She even says it in the manga, that she is afraid of being alone. And that's why she be acting like the way that she be acting. And this is not a crime to be afraid of being alone, but it can come at other people's expense, even hers, which we do see. Like, we see her put up with certain things or endure certain things, or be put herself in certain situations, okay, that now, like, just so that she doesn't have to be alone, so she can know that for sure she's always going to be with somebody, even if she's having certain things inflicted onto her. And now it comes at other people's expense too, because it could be at the people around her expense, because she doesn't want to be alone. Also, I want to point out, like, these little, like, areas in the panels where there's a lot of little chatter. These are important because this is Aizawa showing us, more depth into these characters. So when his phone rings, okay, because him, Junko, and Kyosuke are all out celebrating the fact that he got into the university. When his phone rings, he immediately just says, hello, Nana, because, he's happy. He's only expecting her to call. And Kyosuke was like, what if, what would you do if you got the wrong person on the line? And Junko was like, there's no way, this fella could be unfaithful, right? And so understand, like, this is, really, this isn't really saying like, oh, well, you just never know with Shoji, even though it is, you just never know with anybody, right? Male or female, you really don't know what somebody could do if the circumstances change, right? But really, this is what Aizawa was trying to do, to show the characters, because some people just be like, oh, Shoji's just a terrible person, when it's just like, no, Aizawa was trying to show us that the people around him know that he is not a cheater. Like, that's not who he is. That's not who he's written to be. Like, when we meet Shoji, he's not a cheater. That's why Junko has so much faith in him, right? But again, you don't know what a person can do, depending on the circumstances. And also, people change, right? And also, you're not this person. You can only know this person. You knew them in middle school and you know them now. You don't know them when their relationship is falling apart. Now that's a different version of them now. Just like with Nana K. Like, certain people in the manga only know Nana K when she has her facade up. And that's why they can't believe that she does some of the things that she does. Or, for example, Nobu can't believe that she's dealing with somebody like Takumi willingly. Because just like, Nana K wouldn't do that though. Like, the Nana K that I see and that she shows me, she wouldn't do that. Like, it has to be somebody else's fault. And that's why Sheen's like, no, she's a woman. They have needs and wants too. Like, you don't think women have sexual desires and, can't get caught up in the moment and, she can't be a fangirl? You don't think that can happen with her? She's a human too. So it's like, you might only know somebody a certain side of them, or when they're in a certain season of their lives. You don't always know when shit hit the fan how this person can be, or what they'll resort to. We just don't know. So I'm glad Aizawa was putting these little nuggets in there that, Junko really did believe that he was faithful, because he was faithful, because he was a good guy. That's just what it was. It wasn't like he was this master manipulator that was always going to cheat. That's another reason why, Junko had to try to nip that in the bud, when you don't gotta like the timing or not, but Nana K had to say, when she was, checking Nana K on the fact that she was like, he was always cheating on me since the beginning, he never loved me, and Junko was like, no, that's not the truth though. That just isn't the truth. And because y'all are both literally on the same level of friendship to me, I have to let you know that that's just not the truth. Yes, he cheated and he was dead wrong for that shit. But I'm not going to let you spiral right now on this lie that this guy just never loved you and that he always was cheating on you. Because then that does take away everything that actually happened and the way that it happened. And also, it could take away any opportunities to hold any type of accountability on Nana K's end of, like, not saying that, again, she was to blame for the cheating, no, but any accountability of the fact that she could have did things better too. Because if he was always cheating from the beginning, then it wouldn't have mattered, right? But no, he wasn't. That wasn't what it was. The relationship started to fail, and Nana K played a part in that as well. So yeah, I just want to point that out so that we can truly understand these characters. Like again, Ayazawa didn't write all this for nothing, right? So let's look into every little nook and cranny, every little detail, so we can get the depth of these characters, so that we can truly appreciate the work. Because think about it, this is somebody who everybody understood, was a faithful guy, a good guy. Yes, he wasn't as mature as probably even Kyosuke, right? And even Kyosuke, he's not the most mature person in the world. Even Junko, she's not the mature person in the world. I will say, her and Kyosuke, we see, are like more mature out of their group compared to like Nana K and Nobu, not Nana K and Nobu, Nana K and Shoji, right? They are the more mature couple. Are they a perfect couple? Absolutely not, because they're not perfect people. Actually, nobody is, right? But we're seeing that Ayazawa is writing him to be a good guy. This is not like Nana K meeting Takumi, who's already sleeping with multiple women, and he lets her know that, and she accepts that. That's not what it is, where this person's written to be like, a player and sleeping around this and third. No, we're seeing Shoji, he's all in on Nana K, and Nana K at this point in time is all in on Shoji. This is who Nana K is centering at the time, right? And we see the difference, okay? Because that's another thing. So we're gonna see the difference when she starts centering Nana O, because it's a difference when you're in a relationship with somebody and you're loyal, and it's just you and that person, you're faithful to that person, and then and you're still doing you. Okay, that's what we're seeing everybody else doing. They're in, even Junko and Kyosuke, they're in a relationship and they're still having their dreams and goals, and they're still chasing those things. Same thing with Shoji. He's in a relationship with Nana K. He still has his goals and he's doing him. Nana K is the one where she's even her having that job where as soon as she got that call, she's like, cool, I could quit this and I could leave, right? It wasn't necessarily for her. It was literally just so that she can say, okay, I'll get the job, I'll work while you're out there. Meanwhile, I'm just waiting on standby until you give me that call, and I'm dropping this shit immediately, expeditiously. Okay, and that's exactly what she did, and again, without a plan, right? And so not following the damn plan. That's the thing. You kind of had an outline of a plan a year ago in the hotel when you told them, but you're not following the damn thing. And honestly, if we're gonna be so for real, especially if you listen to last week's episode when we were showing how Shoji was getting on her about, like, you're not listening. You're everything that you're trying to do to get out here to Tokyo, or get out there to Tokyo, is just not a good idea. It's not a good plan. You do not have a solid plan. You're going to put yourself in a bad situation just so that you won't be alone, just so that you're going to be out there with everybody else. And so when they're in that hotel room and she's like, okay, well, what if I do this? What if I get a job? What if I'm fine on my own if I go out there and I work hard and I get a job? That was the first time she got a positive answer from him of like, okay, I mean, if you do that, then that sounds pretty good. It sounds like a solid plan. And that's what I'm saying. Then when she finally get that text talking about he got in, she said, F that plan. So we really got to pay attention to these details, okay? Because the foundation already wasn't solid. Foundation already wasn't solid. And I think this is very important, because I personally don't like when people be like, oh, Shoji, he wasn't even happy to see her. Oh, he wanted her to get a job so quick. He couldn't wait to get her out his apartment. I think we need to look at this part and look at Nana K did not follow the plan. Okay? And man and woman alike. And this is the thing. When women do stuff, and this is a woman-ran fandom, so therefore, there's going to be a lot of women justifying women's wrongs. Point blank period. Point blank period, it is what it is. Just like when it's a male-driven fandom or male-ran fandom, like Berserk or something, there's going to be a lot of men justifying men's wrongs. It just is what it is. We see it all the time. Sometimes you need to replace the character with a man and be like, okay, now if a man did that, would I get pissed? If a man did that, would it make me feel different? Because then at that point, you're not looking at who's doing it. You're looking at what's being done, and you're looking at the principle. That's what a lot of people in this fandom need to do. They need to replace, okay? They need to replace Nana K with a guy. And if the guy did and said exactly what Nana K did and said, now can you see how that could be problematic? Now can you see how she needed to communicate better? Okay, now can you see why Shoji was a little upset? Right? If you're just pulling up, no warning, no plan, you're not following the plan that you said you was going to do, and you got your ass up out here. You found your way to get up out here. And you did, and again, she kind of, and multiple times she throws it back in his face of like, well, I came out here for your sake. And he's just like, no, you didn't. You came out here for you, actually. But again, she throws it back in his face like, I came out here for you. Like, I came for your sake. And it's just like, actually, you didn't. But anyway, right? So we seeing that Aizawa's, making it known that Shoji is a good guy, making it known that he has no girls on the side right now, making it known that, he could never. Like, that's just not his character, right? So anyway, it comes to everybody's surprise that Nana K is already packing up, because that was not part of the plan, and he literally got accepted today. Like, literally. You were supposed to call me after you got off of work. You weren't supposed to quit your job and be packing your shit up already. But I guess, again, if your girlfriend or boyfriend, if the plan was that they would be fine on their own out in Tokyo, which means that they get their own place, that they have enough money saved up to get their own place. So if they're calling you, telling you, oh, they already ready, they packed up, then now you're kind of thinking, okay, well, maybe they have their money for their own place and they're ready to be on their own, just like how they said that they would, right? But then we see that that's not the case. Nana K just left without a plan, without, truly all the money in the world to sustain herself. And I'm not going to say all the money in the world, but all the money, like, in a sense of, okay, if you're about to get a new apartment, you need, well, I don't know how it is in Japan, but I know out here in California, you need first month's rent, last month's rent. You need a couple months, maybe a few months rent saved up, right? At least 3 to 6 months saved up to where you good, right? You can make it without that, but you need that, okay? Instead of just being like, oh, I'm just going to kick it with my boyfriend, not really even tell him that, even though I told him that I was going to be good on my own. So when Shoji, so let's fast forward to when, it's the first night out there, they're all happy, they sleep together, okay, cool, everything like that. He leaves for work the next day. She's like, okay, I'm going to spend the day cooking and cleaning. I'm going to put in my very best effort until Shoji comes home. And she does a lot. That's one thing Nana K is really good for. She knows how to make a house a home. She's a great homemaker. She is. And she puts her all into it. Like, that's why she does make a really good housewife. She does. And that's what she wants to do. Like, she's literally like, somehow doing all this makes me feel like newlyweds, right? Like, being able to live by his side every day, like, it's just such a great feeling. She gets a lot of joy by doing this for the person that she's centering at the time. And that's great. But that wasn't what you said you were going to do. It wasn't. And for you to come out here so quick, because I know some people were like, well, he could have let, he didn't have to mention that right away. He could have let, a few days go by and then mention it. It's just like, no, you can't though. Because you don't want her to get the wrong idea. Like, this is Nana K we're talking about. We need to not self-insert and talk about ourselves. We're talking about Nana K. Okay? You have to be very clear with her. And sometimes there is no good moment with her. You got to tell her right in the moment. So although he's like, oh, this food is actually really good. Like, okay, cool. So he was like, like, I know this isn't what you did all day, right? So, like, did you ever, you find anything good? Like, you find a job? And she's talking about, like, no, like, this is what I did all day. And he's like, didn't you promise that you be able to support yourself and find a job? And she was like, what do you mean by that? I came all this way for your sake. There she go. This is the first time she throws it in his face, saying that I came here for you. That's not the truth, Nana K. You did not come out here for me. You came out here for you. You came out here for you. You were trying to come out here by any means possible. And back when y'all were just visiting Tokyo a year ago, he was trying to tell you up and down that is not the best decision. That's not the best decision, because you don't have the money, you don't have the funds, you don't have the support. You should not be coming out here. So you're not doing it for Shoji. You're doing it for you. But every time he tries to, talk some sense to her, she's like, I'm doing this for you. No, you're not. And this is why I say, replace Nana K with a man. Or even just switch it. Imagine if Shoji out of nowhere popped up, promised that he was going to have his own place and get a job and this, that, and the third. And then as soon as Nana K calls and says, or texts and says, oh, I got into my school, he just quits his job. He pops up on her and he's expecting to live there with her. Y'all be like, oh, why would a man be there? Oh my God, men, I just can't. And then when Nana K's like, hey, so, are you going to get a job? Because you said you was going to come out here and support yourself. Yeah, I know you wasn't just here cooking and cleaning all day. That's nice. But while I was at work, I'm thinking that you going to be trying to find a job. And he's just like, what are you talking about? I came out here for you. Like, what do you mean by that? Huh? That's what I'm saying. Y'all need to be able to see the principle and the actions. Don't just look at the person doing it. Because a lot of y'all got the savior complex like Nobu. And y'all think that, Nana K could do no wrong. No, she is wrong right here. She is. Some people be like, oh, it's just not the right time. But as y'all can see, anybody that holds Nana K accountable, y'all always say it's never the right time. Y'all always do. And I don't understand why people aren't able to see that. I'm like, it's very clear that she was putting him and the relationship on the back burner because she was centering Nana O. Some people be like, oh my God forbid a girl has friends. But it's just like, no, it's a difference between having friends and putting your relationship and your boyfriend on the back burner. It's a difference. Like, if Shoji did that to Nana K, y'all would say he ain't shit. If Shoji had a male, queer coded, let's remember, had a male, even if he wasn't queer coded. But let's just be real. Let's just have a parallel. If Shoji, okay, had a male, a man who was a roommate, okay, and he was centering Nana K, and as soon as he moves in with this roommate, he's all about this roommate. He's canceling on dates with her to go be with the roommate. He's never inviting her over, his girlfriend. Okay? And then, like this scene that I have right here, where Shoji's like, hey, like, okay, where she's like, you know, Shoji, all you do is work. Like, what did she say? She said, all you do is work. You know, I came to Tokyo for your sake and you spend all your time working. You should spend more time with me. Imagine if Shoji was like, you know, all you do is work. Like, you need to spend more time with me. Like, I came out here for your sake. Knowing damn well he didn't. Knowing damn well Nana K didn't come out there for his sake. She came out there for her. She came out there for her. It was just easier now that she was dating him to get out there. She was doing everything to try to get out there with her, with Junko and Kyosuke and all them, so she wouldn't be alone. But then, just imagine if Shoji threw it in Nana K's face, saying like, "You need to, you know, start spending more time with me. All you do is work." Mind you, she's a struggling college student, paying her way through college. Imagine, y'all would say he wasn't shit. That's what y'all would say. Or not everybody, not all y'all. A lot of you, if you're on this podcast, you most likely can see nuance and complexity and things like that. So a lot of people in the fandom would say he ain't shit, right? And would call a spade a spade. And then imagine if that roommate kissed Shoji, and Shoji didn't tell Nana K, because that's exactly what happened. Nana K never told Shoji that Nana O kissed her. That's another thing. Because I don't know about y'all. This is my little sub-assertion. Me personally, I don't care who it's coming from. I need to know whose lips been on your motherfucking lips if you in a motherfucking relationship with me. The fuck? Especially if it's your roommate. I need to know if y'all getting down like that. I need to know. Y'all in the bed having pillow fights and shit. I need to know. Okay? Anywho. Now just imagine that. And then right here, he's like, so, you know, he said, look, I'm trying my best. Like, last time we saw each other, you were the one who rushed back home, right? Because remember, she was like, oh, I got to get back to Nana O, right? So he was like, so who is the one that should be putting in more effort? And why should it always be me arranging everything? Nana K was on hush mode. She couldn't say shit. Couldn't say shit because he's right. Now imagine, right? Imagine Shoji was, you know, the one canceling dates, the one ending dates early to go be with his roommate. He wouldn't even, y'all wouldn't even give him a chance to come up with an excuse. Y'all be like, oh, go be with that boy. You like boys. Go be with that boy. That's exactly what y'all say. But when it's a girl, people can't see it. Huh? Please be so for real. And so then when Shoji says this, because this is completely valid, like, yeah, it sounds like you need to be putting in more effort. And there she go again, throwing that back in his face, like, oh, I came out here for your sake. No, you did not. You did not, actually, right? Stop lying. Stop lying. And she knows she's wrong. And she knows she's not putting in a lot of effort. And she knows she's putting him on the back burner. Why? Not because she's become more independent. Why? Because she is centering somebody else. And if you, whether you're a man or a woman, if your partner starts centering somebody else instead of actually becoming more independent, you're going to feel it. Why? Because at one point, Nana K was centering him. Nana K never centers herself. That's the problem. She needs to center herself. Let's see how that looks if she centers herself and is able to have a healthy balance with work and her friends and her relationship. But her center is herself. We never see that. So no, we never get to see Nana K be independent. We get to see her be dependent on different people. And that dynamic shifts. And it changes her relationship with others. Just like how she's centering Nana O right now instead of Shoji while she's in a relationship with Shoji. That starts affecting her relationship with Shoji. Then she started centering Takumi. And that affected her relationship with Nana O. Hello? Are we piecing it together? Are we seeing how when she centers other people, she's never being independent. She's just being more dependent on somebody else, and she's centering other people and how that affects her other relationships, right? So she dead wrong. She is. It just is what it is. And if Shoji did the same thing, y'all be mad about that too. Let's be for real. Okay? So we're in that scene where he's like, hey, it sounds like you need to be putting more effort in too. Like, this is a two-way street. And whether you like it or not, this is what Junko was trying to tell her. Whether you like the timing or not, it was true. This is when Junko was like, hey, you know, he dead wrong for cheating on you. And it's that is not your fault. But before the cheating, there was other shit wrong. And it takes a two-way street. It takes two people, okay, to give a damn. And you wasn't giving a damn. Not like how you supposed to make an actual relationship work. And this is what we're talking about. This is why, you know, that scene, everybody gets mad at Junko. They're like, oh, it's not the right time. Whatever. That's fine. You could think that. But at the end of the day, she wasn't lying, though. She wasn't lying, though. And no, that's what I'm saying. Who's going to tell her this? Like, who's going to tell her? There would be no good time. He cheated on her. So there's never going to be a good time to point out, hey, you contributed to the failure of that relationship. It's never going to be a good time because you don't want to hear that shit. But it's true. It don't matter if it was a month from now. It don't matter if it was a day, 2 years. It's just not going to be the right time. I get people be like, okay, but in that moment, they need to console her. Yes, but in that moment, she was trying to take a lie that, oh, he cheated on me since the beginning. Oh, he never loved me, and run with it and spiral. That's not healthy either. I'm not just going to let you do that either. No. Okay? So, yeah, we're seeing she's not being a good girlfriend right here. It just is what it is. She centered Nana O, and shit, that was damn near her girlfriend. Okay? She put Shoji on the back burner. And when he said that, she didn't even answer him. She didn't even answer. She completely dismissed him and started asking the bartender about Blast and saying, oh, can you hang up this poster? And just because we're looking for a new member of the band for Blast and da-da-da. How do you think that made Shoji feel? Like, what the fuck? I'm literally telling you that, hey, why am I always the one arranging things? Hey, can you put in some more effort? And I'm trying my best, and you just ignore me? And then you just start talking about Nana O and her fucking band. Fuck that band. The fuck? Like, you just met this girl not too long ago. We've been together for damn near a year. What the hell is going on? Right? So, again, if Shoji would have did that to Nana K and just ignored her and dismissed what she said, and then just start talking about his little, you know, roommate's band and shit, y'all would say he wasn't shit. So let's just keep the same energy. Let's keep the same energy. Does that make Nana K the devil? Absolutely not. Does it make her inconsiderate and selfish? Yes. But everybody at some point in time in this manga has been like something, whether it was inconsiderate or selfish or just kind of dumb, naive, immature, they've all been something. Nobody the devil up in here, right? But we gotta call a spade a spade. And it's always after the fact where she's just like, I need to apologize, or, oh, that was wrong. Oh, I dealt with that wrong, this, that, and the third. But she never says it out loud. This is what I'm saying. Like, she never gives that apology when it's needed. She never takes that accountability on the outside. She always does it in her inner monologue. And it's just like, okay, you need to do better with that, Nana K. I'm sorry you do. You can't keep treating people like that and then not, you know, taking that accountability out loud. They need to hear that from you. You need to communicate that. You can't just spiral in your head and then hope to get to it later and then never do. Like, no. And so when we talk about Sachiko, I want to debunk a couple things. Somebody was talking about, Shoji went for Sachiko because he likes younger girls. Wrong. Actually, Sachiko's like a year younger than them. They're 20, I think she's 19. She's literally at the university. Like, she is not no 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old girl. Like, y'all gots to calm down. What I will say is, I do believe Sachiko is supposed to symbolize the Nana K that he first met. And maybe even a little bit more, I will say, somebody who has more of a self-identity. I won't say super mature because she immature too. But I'm saying somebody who has their own goals and things like that. He meets her, and you know, she works at the same job as him. She's at the same university, so she's taking classes all on her own. It wasn't because he was taking classes that she was taking classes. And I was very intentional with her character designs, right? So if she's making somebody look similar to somebody else, it's for a reason. And as you can see, Sachiko literally looks like how Nana K first looked. Like, she looks like how Nana K first looked when Shoji first saw her. Like, you see, you know, she's wearing a little hat, short hair, cute little smile with a little bandana around her neck. And that was very similar to how Nana K looked when he first saw Nana K at the art school. So this was all done, like, intentionally, okay? So yeah, I do think, again, as I was very intentional. So I do think she wants us to pair, like, mirror Sachiko with early Nana K when he first met her, being very bubbly and, not necessarily like she has to be a happy person all the time, but just being very bubbly compared to who the side of Nana K he started to see. Right, not only was he starting to get put on the back burner, right, the relationship was getting put on the back burner. She wasn't really spending time with him. He was forced to be the one to arrange everything. She just dismissed his feelings when he did express himself. On top of that, we saw in a date when she was cursing out her not cursing out, but she was complaining about her job, right? And I remember she called the girl, that head lady that was over her, that always was making sure that Nana K was getting her work done, and on a timely manner. That's one thing about it. When you are at like a 9 to 5 job, or you're at an 8 hour job, a full-time job, whatever the case is, or especially working in the office, you can't lollygag around. It's not just about looking cute. You do gotta work. And that's something that Nana K was not for. Like, she was just like, this some bullshit. I am not trying to do this. I'm trying to be a housewife. I'm trying to be a homemaker. The fuck am I doing up in here for? I gotta actually work to make money. This is some bullshit. You know how some people, like, they just not meant to be working like that, like, because they just can't handle either deadlines or responsibility or like being told what to do. Nana K is one of those people, when, like, she's good with like looking cute and, being a little fashionista and doing this, doing that, but when it comes to actual responsibility, where it's like, honey, where are you gonna make your deadline? Like, where's the deadline at? What's going on? That's too much pressure for her. Like, she's very much in that feminine energy of like, oh, I'm just gonna go with the flow. She even says that when she gets with Takumi, she's just like, Takumi, he doesn't waver. He's very much that masculine, like, rigid energy, schedules, discipline, schedules, be very responsible when it comes to, work and stuff like that. And Nana K, it's like when she's with him, she's able to be in that feminine energy where she could just go with the flow and just not really pay attention to stuff. Like, she's like, oh, I could just do me. I could do, my interior design, and I could just worry about the stuff that I care about. She's able to do that. So when she's put in a situation where she has to be in her masculine and being like, okay, I need to have more discipline, I need to, meet these deadlines, she's like, this is some bullshit. And it's like, that's valid. Like, it's valid in the sense of like, I think we've all experienced that, where it's just like, this is actually crazy. If I could just live my life and not have to work, that's what I prefer. Some people are like, no, I'm actually good at this. Like, I'm good with this, but Nana K is just not one of those people. Like, not with that job, right? I could see Nana K doing really good if it was like a cooking job, like if she had to cook, and not even on no sexist shit, like, oh yeah, she's a woman, she has to cook. No, but like saying like, Nana K enjoys cooking. Like, she really does enjoy cooking, and she does a good job at it. Like, and even cleaning. Like, I could see, but then again, I was gonna say I could see her being like a house cleaner, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like if Nana K she had to clean up a mess that wasn't necessarily hers, and it wasn't for the person that she was centering at the time, or she's with, dating, I feel like then it would feel like a job, and then, she has to meet a deadline, and she probably wouldn't enjoy it. Anyway, that was a side note. Back to what I was saying. I do feel like Sachiko and Nana K are supposed to mirror each other in the sense of like, this Sachiko was kind of like, and I don't look, my little hot take is that Sachiko and Shoji had a better love story than, Nana K and Shoji did. It just is what it is. It would have been actually cute if Nana K, if he didn't already have a damn girlfriend. Let's just say that. But really look at their love story. Look how they've actually fell in love together. This is a guy that she met. To her recollection, she didn't know that he had a girlfriend at first, because he didn't say that. He did wrong for that. But she meets this guy, you start a new job, and you guys know how it go. You start a new job, you start school, you're looking for, if you're single, you're looking for the cute people. It just is what it is. You're looking for the eye candy, right? You're like, oh, I hope somebody's cute at this job. Like, usually. And she finds somebody who's cute. She's like, okay, cool. And he gonna be the one training me. Okay, cool. This is nice. And we take the same train. And he in my class. Like, what is going on? It does seem like I'm supposed to know this person. Like, okay, I'm gonna get to know him. They're vibing. They have good chemistry. It is a better love story. I'm sorry, it is. It is. It just sucks because he had a damn girlfriend, didn't tell her. And then by the time she find out, she already got feelings. But like I said, my piece about Sachiko is that she still need her little ass beat too. And this is what I'm talking about. When I say ass beat, it depends on what you do. Okay? It depends on what you do. Like, for example, if y'all ever saw the Apothecary Diaries, y'all know how Mao Mao be getting people together real quick. How Mao Mao,
And look it up. If you haven't seen it, just look it up so you know what I'm talking about. How Mau got that lady in waiting together real quick and had to slap her up real quick. Okay? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about beat her ass a little bit. It don't mean stumping her out. Unless she need that shit. Like, somebody who need that shit is Akito. Akito from Fruits Basket, she do need that. She do need that. Now, was she a victim too? Absolutely, but she do need that. I'm not gonna lie. And the fact that she got off without nothing is crazy to me. But anyway, so yeah, Sachiko need her ass beat a little bit. Shit, don't let me get started on everybody in anime who need their ass beat a little bit, because the first person I thought it was Sai from Peach Girl. But let me digress, because she can piss me off. But yeah, you know, Shoji and Sachiko need their ass beat a little bit, because it's like, yeah, you knew damn well you had a girlfriend. You knew to withhold that information, because you knew, like, you didn't want to tell this new girl that you had a girlfriend, especially when things already weren't going well for y'all. It's like, at that point, you do need to just break up. At that point, you do. Okay? But you didn't, so you just kept letting things progress, knowing that you feeling her, she feeling you. And Sachiko, you need your ass beat a little bit, because, okay, once you did find out he had a girlfriend, even if you had your feelings already involved, you need to stop, dropping, roll, ho, what the fuck? Like, ho, what the hell? You didn't give him no ultimatum or nothing. You didn't really, like, she claimed she tried to stop. Okay, she claimed she tried to distance herself, but then you did that shit with the train. What she ended up doing? She did something where, what she do with her heel or her shoe or some shit, and then later on talking about she did the shit on purpose. That's what I'm talking about. That's why you need your ass beat a little bit, just a little bit. And it's like, I get it, you got feelings, and he didn't tell you, you know, from the get go. But now that you know, now I'm looking at you. Now I'm looking at you, because now you know, and you still sleep with him and stuff like that. Like, that's foul as fuck. But anyway, this video ain't even about all that. This video is strictly supposed to be about, like, Shoji and Nana K and debunking some stuff. We gonna have a whole nother video on that situation. But I really did want to point out that, like, again, their relationship, it was flawed from the start. It wasn't, I mean, hopefully even just this video can break down, like, you know what, yeah, they did have some issues. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't good. It wasn't. And a big part of that was Nana K centering Nana O, okay? And then from there, and let's be, if we're being so for real, you know, not hearing Shoji out when he was expressing his feelings. And then Shoji not expressing, you know, his grievances when it came down to, okay, you know what, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. And instead trying to justify the fact that there's another girl now in the picture. But mind you, he should have expressed his grievances. I won't say express his grievances, because he did express his grievances and she dismissed him. I will say him just being like, look, I'm not happy. I don't feel appreciated. I don't feel like you are putting enough effort in this relationship, and so therefore I want to end it. That's really what he should have did, but that's a very mature thing to do, right? To do that before making any connections with anybody else. These are not fully mature people. These are people who are 20 years old, child. Frontal lobe's not developed. They have no life experience. This is their life experience. So like I said before in the last episode, some lessons you do have to live and learn them. You do. And it sucks. It really does. But I can't expect these two flawed beings, young people, to get it right on the first time. I can't expect Nana K to get it right on the first time. I can't expect Shoji to get it right on the first time. This is why coming of age stories are so annoying and frustrating, because it pisses you off, especially being an older person, like being like 20. I'm about to be 27 this year. Grown woman type shit, okay? But especially being like, you know, 26 and reading this, it's like, damn. You know, like you don't know you shouldn't have done that for real, because you're still learning. But that's the shit that you don't do. Like, y'all should have moved differently. Both of y'all should have moved differently, bro. So it's frustrating, but it's just kind of like, you got to give them grace, because it's like, damn, y'all got to learn. Now y'all know, right? Now y'all know. And y'all, when y'all in y'all mid to late 20s, y'all gonna know better. Some people ain't never learn, though. That's the problem. Some people never learn, but I have to give them grace because they're young, and these are their first relationships type shit. Like, you know, so it's just like, damn. But so it's hard to read. It is. But it's just like, they're not evil people. They're not the scum of the earth because they made these mistakes. And we see at the end when they see each other, before Nana K is about to go to the fireworks and she runs into Shoji, they're both apologetic and they both regret how they handled each other. They do. Like, you know, we see here, like, you know, Shoji's like, you know, I'm really sorry. You know, Nana K's like, you know, it's fine. I did a lot of bad things too. And I think it's important to see the fact of like Nana K saying, you know, it's fine, I did a lot of bad things too. Because you see how time had to go by and other shit had to happen for her to be like, you know what, it's fine. Because although, you know, cheating's not fine, like, you know, you shouldn't have did it. But she meanings in the sense of like, she took time to be able to reflect. Time has gone by. And she's been able to reflect in the sense of like, and I do think even Junko, that day, where yes, she was crying and she was spiraling, she thinking that he was always cheating on her since the beginning, yada yada yada. But even Junko speaking that, you know, and holding her accountable in that way of like, hey, before the cheating though, you were not being that good of a girlfriend either. Now she didn't say those words, but this is me saying, but before the cheating, Nana K, you were not being a good girlfriend. Just is what it is. You sent her somebody else and you put him on the back burner. It is what it is. You dismiss his feelings, and again, you centered Nana O and her band. It just is what it is. That wasn't necessarily just, oh, God forbid a girl has friends. No, it's a difference because Nana K was also friends with Junko. And her being friends with Junko never forced her relationship to be on the back burner. Right? But it was when she got with Nana O, that's when, okay, her centering Nana O, therefore she decentered Shoji and then went ahead and put him on the back burner. Like I said, what she should have did was center herself and then found a balance between, you know, centering herself, you know, doing what's good for her, finding her dreams, aspirations, or whatever, her goals in life, whatever, doing things that actually is going to better her life for her, and then having friends and then having a relationship. That's what she should have did. But again, that's a very mature thing to do. These are not mature people. This is a coming of age story. I'm not expecting it. So with that being said, right, you know, she took some time to reflect and she can see that, hey, you know, I did bad things too. It wasn't cheating. Well, it wasn't physically having sex with somebody else, you know, and kissing on some other people. It wasn't that. You know, I was, again, people can see that Nana K was emotionally cheating. And some people just call that cheating, right? But like and that's the thing, social construct, right? Everybody has a different definition of what cheating is. But point of the matter is, that's why I just sum it up and say Nana K decentered Shoji and she centered Nana O. She was not being more independent. So she was in the wrong. She was. Because, again, she wasn't appreciating the person that she had. She put him on the back burner. She was throwing it in her face. The fact that she was out there, it wasn't really actually for him, but she would say that it was. He told you his feelings. You dismissed him. Like, that's not cool. And if he would have did that shit to you, you wouldn't have liked it. So, you know, I like the fact that she was able, at least in this moment, even though it's all said and done, at least in this moment, she was able to say, like, you know, I did bad things too. Again, this is not saying that cheating was on the same exact level of what she did. No, but it still takes two to tango, and it takes two to care enough in the relationship. And we were seeing that, you know, she wasn't caring enough about her relationship with Shoji because she had already centered Nana O. And that was her new goal. That was her new obsession, her new, you know, her new center. And so something that Shoji says, she's like, you know, when I think about it now, like your selfishness, you know, it wasn't a big deal. None of it really mattered. He's like, you know, hearing this might make you unhappy, but somehow talking with you, Nana, always makes me feel really happy. And I think this is important, right? Because I'm glad he did still say your selfishness, because she was very selfish. But the point of the matter is that this is an ending, you know, ending of a friendship. They lost each other as friends because that was something that Nana K thought she was able to still have. And that's something that she, you know, talks about after she, you know, leaves the meeting with each other. And this is before she's going to go to the fireworks with Nana O and them. She's just like, you know, I thought hearing it out loud would make me feel better. You know, I thought it was going to make me feel different. But she was remembering, like, by being by Shoji's side, it gave her such a comforting feeling, right? Like, they were actually friends first. And that's what Junko was saying, like, you know, early on in the manga. Like, try being friends with some of these guys first and just, you know, treating them like human beings. You'd be surprised. So she was like, you know, we were friends before we were lovers. And I thought that, you know, if we got rid of the awkwardness between us, we can kind of go back to that, right? Again, unrealistic because it's like, no, nah, right? Like, and we see this thinking that she still has this thinking even with Nobu after everything that's going on. She thinks that, you know, she could just act like, you know, everything's okay. And she's just like, no, it's not okay. Actually, my heart's still fucking broken. And of course I still like you. So you come around like, yeah, that's going to cause issues, especially when people got girlfriends and stuff involved. And that's why I like the fact that Shoji was like, you know, that's why I can't meet you again, because people with past offenses, they must learn to follow, you know, the rules and control themselves. So it's as if he had to say that because it was like he understood that Nana, again, just like how she just said, she was like, I thought if we got rid of that awkwardness between us, we can kind of go back to just being friends. And he's just like, no, I fucked up. I need to learn how to control myself, and I can't meet you again. I don't even deserve to be, around you and act like everything's okay. So this is goodbye, And of course that hurt. And they both run away. Like, I'm just like, damn. Ayazawa just did a good job at like really in capturing all the feelings, because it's easy for people reading this and on the outside of in the fandom being like, oh no, F him, and we're just gonna write him off as a character, and the cheating, this, that, and the third. But if you look at it from the character's point of view, you can get hurt but then still have love for that person. You can get hurt and still have those feelings. You can get hurt and still grieve the friendship, the relationship itself, even if that person did you wrong. I mean, we see that all throughout the manga. And so I just feel like this scene, because some people might look at this scene and be like, girl, he cheated on you, why are you crying, right? Or boy, you cheated on her, like, you got what you wanted, right? But it wasn't that simple. It wasn't like he just didn't give a damn about Nana K at all. Like, he did. But again, it was like, he was trying with this relationship, but then his girl wasn't trying. And again, he was trying to justify and be like, okay, this has to have happened to you before. Like, this is his first time dealing with something like this. He was really, again, it goes with being young and being dumb and immature, this, and the third. And not everybody would have dealt with the situation like how Shoji did. Some people would have just been like, oh yeah, girl, I'm just done. Like, it just is what it is. But we can't expect everybody to operate the same. But even when he was just desperately trying to, okay, Junko, like, okay, help me, like, give me advice, or, Kyosuke, like, this has happened to you before, right? Like, and just trying to figure out how he should go about the situation. And because he's trying not to hurt either person, but it's just like some people's feelings are just gonna have to get hurt. It just is what it is. This is why I be telling people, and this is something I had to learn over time, like from being a people pleaser growing up. And I had to learn it in my adult years, late adult years at that when you put yourself first, you're always going to ruffle some feathers. So even if he would have broken up with her, even before he met Sachiko, or even when, as soon as he met her and was like, okay, I'm starting to feel this girl, and me and my girlfriend been having problems already, she's dismissing my feelings, I'm putting in all the effort, I'm not happy. Even so, it would have broken Nana K's heart to get broken up with. So much so to where Junko really did dead ass think that she was going to take herself out. But that was with the cheating. We don't know really how she would have reacted with the getting broken up with, but I feel like it would have also been bad. So the point of the matter is, it's just like, and also with Nana K always throwing it in the space of, I came out here for you. And it's just like, no, you didn't. But, that can sink in with Shoji too, of being like, ugh. So again, not justifying his cheating, but just trying to show all the different layers that there are, right? To where, again, these are nuanced people or nuanced characters. I want to show every layer, not just the superficial stuff. Let's show every layer so that we can be like, damn, this is some real shit. Like, this is a real ass manga. Like, this is realistic as fuck. And that's what I love about it. Like, this is real stuff that happens on the day to day, right? And again, I love the fact that he was able to be like, you know what? I fucked up. I can't see you. I'm sorry. And, goodbye. And when I look back at it, this shit really wasn't even all that deep. Like, it really wasn't end of the world. And that's the thing, though. Like, I don't know if y'all ever experienced that. I experienced that myself of, like, when you're dealing with somebody, especially if it's your first love or your first actual relationship, whatever the fuck. And you really, especially if there's ever been somebody else that you liked, or whatever the case is, a love triangle in any type of way, shape, or form, you really thinking it has to be either this person or that person. Like, you really forget that there's plenty of other fish in the sea. Or you really just think that it has to go this way. Like, everything has to be this way, or it's the end of the world. And it's just like, when you look back at it, you be like, damn. Like, not that much time has passed, but just being like, damn, this shit really wasn't even that deep. Like, it was that deep when we were in it, but it really wasn't that deep. That's crazy. Damn. Like, I kind of wish I didn't cheat on you. Like, I know that's what he's feeling. Like, I kind of wish I didn't cheat on you. I kind of just wish I ended it. Like, damn. But even so, it would have been sad, because regardless, even if he would have ended it before he cheated, like, he would have still lost her as a friend. That's the thing. Like, ain't no way you could still be, it was still going to be awkward. The friend group, it was just going to be awkward as fuck. So it's like, damn. So then, after that, he meets up with Sachiko. At this point, we know that they're dating, whatever the case is. And, he says, I can, because she's like, what's wrong with your eyes? Like, they look red. Because, he was crying. And he doesn't tell her that, he just ran into Nana K. Because, again, that wasn't intentional. They just happened to run into the same bar or that same burger spot that they used to go to. And he says, I can clearly see the stars that are in the far distance. And I lose sight of the stars that have become so close to me. And, she says, maybe everyone's like that. And then it goes into, Nana O's, letter to Nana K. And she says, people always say that you only discover how precious something is after you lose it. And she says, but I think you really only recognize it when you see it a second time again, face to face. Which, again, points out to, like, again, what they just did. They just encountered each other for the second time after everything's all said and done. And they both feel that regret of, like, fuck, damn. And they're remembering the good times. They're remembering, like, damn, like, it didn't even have to go down like that. That's the crazy part. Like, again, if you go back to the relationship, though, like, it wasn't going to work. But it didn't have to go down like that. You see what I'm trying to say? But, again, sometimes that just comes with that life seasoning, child. Because after stuff goes down a certain way, you know how to move. Like, you know how it feels, for one. That shit fucking sucks. But then, on both sides. Because this, again, Shoji wasn't written to just be a player. Oh, I don't give a fuck about Nana K. I never gave a fuck about her. I was going to always cheat on her. No, that just wasn't how he was written. He was really stressed the hell out. He was stressed the hell out. Doesn't matter to a certain extent because he still cheated. But I'm just saying, stressed out in the sense of this was somebody that he did care about. Like, he actually did care about. So we have to pay attention to those things because you don't want to just... there's nuance there. It's not like, oh no, he's just a cheater, he don't give a fuck about her. Like, he never gave a fuck about her. Some people be like, oh well, he if he really gave a fuck about her, he wouldn't have cheated. That's not necessarily true. People can give a fuck about you and still cheat on you. It's, again, because everybody be loving differently. Everybody be moving differently. Everybody be loving differently, right? But what I will say, that healthy love, the healthy love, which we know, nobody up in here really knows. The healthiest love we get to see is Junko and Kyosuke. And they're not perfect, but that's what Ayazawa has written to show, oh yeah, this is a relationship that's more healthy than these other relationships. And also, I like Miyu and Yasu. That's what we get to see too. And they made it to post time skip too, honey. So, like, Ayazawa writes people in certain couples certain way to show this is a healthier version compared to this other bullshit out here, right? But I will say, a healthy love, you shouldn't be getting cheated on. A healthy love, though. So we know none of these relationships, I mean, is healthy, with the exception of, like, Miyu and Yasu, Junko, Kyosuke. And even then, that's not saying their love is perfect. And that people not gonna make mistakes. But healthy love, you shouldn't have to worry about that. Okay? But, yeah, so it's like, they're able to see, like, damn, how precious something was. Even their friendship, how precious that friendship was. But now it's gone. And it's forever fucked up. So I think Ayazawa really did embody that really well, and showing all the different emotions and showing that even the grieving of the friendship and the grieving of the relationship and just that connection in general. I think that was good because it's like, yeah, it's not just black and white. There's a lot of different emotions involved when something like this happens. And if anything, stuff like this can make you not only, have that life seasoning, but a part of that life seasoning can make you cherish what you have while you have it before it's gone, because you've experienced something similar to this. To be like, you know what? Because on both sides, Shoji could feel like, I didn't really cherish what I had until it was gone. And Nana K probably feels like that too, of like, damn, I had him. And again, when I met Nana O, I kind of put him on the back burner. I didn't cherish what I had until it was gone. So like they both, that's why I say they're very similar. And I feel like Ayazawa was using them to kind of like mirror each other in a way of like how they navigated that first relationship and how they both were immature. They both played a role in the deterioration of the relationship and the failure of the relationship, and how they both regret how they handled each other. So that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about when we have an adult conversation about Shoji and Nana K. This is what I'm saying about having these mature, nuanced conversations about Nana, because it's not just black and white. It's not just, oh, he's just a cheater and that's it. No, let's really get into the characters. Let's get into everything, because it's just like, damn. And just even, again, going back, I think in the beginning of this episode, I was talking about the little dialogue that we get to see when, like, for example, Junko's being like, oh yeah, he's okay with answering the phone that rings and being like, oh, hey, Nana, because he already knows it's his girlfriend, because he's not really even talking to nobody like that. He got his 2 friends next to him. Who else is there? It's just his girlfriend. So he knows. Kyosuke was like, what if somebody else would have answered the phone? And Junko's just like, ain't no way this dude would ever cheat. Like, he's faithful. Like, he's not, he's not like that. So even showing stuff like that, again, showing his character as a good guy, he is the faithful type, right? To where at that point, right? At that time, right? To where this cheating scandal, like, it was a shock to everybody. Especially Junko, who really was just like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? What is happening right now? Like, it was really like, what is that? What does that mean? Like, you disappointed me. You disappointed me. Like, what the fuck is going on? But like I said, like, you only know certain people sometimes at certain parts in their lives. And, or even when you know how they move in their relationship, when their relationship is going a certain way. And then now when this person doesn't feel appreciated, or this, that, and the third, you might see them do something that you wasn't expecting them to do. You may be like, well, hold on, I thought I knew this person. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, were they just always a cheaters? Sometimes it could be that, but we're seeing in this predicament, it wasn't the fact that he was always a cheater. It's just the fact that we saw certain circumstances change, and we see how people act differently in different situations, to where it could be unexpected to even the people around you who've known you for a long time. So even showing the shock and the dynamic of like the friend group changing because of this, because it was just like, what the hell? It wasn't like we knew he would do something like that. Like, no way. So yeah, I just love the writing. But yeah, I just wanted to take some time to debunk some stuff. Like I said, the whole thing about Shoji picking Sachiko because he likes younger women. I'm like, y'all gotta calm down. She's literally a year younger than them. No, I think it was more about him seeing a younger, not younger, but like that year before, the old Nana in Sachiko, but kind of not like new and improved, but like a Nana that he would have wanted to have. You get me? In the sense of like somebody who wasn't so dependent, to where it's like, yeah, okay, Sachiko, she likes him, but she got a job, she got her own place, she's going to college for herself. Like, that's what he wanted to see in Nana. So now, we're seeing that, and it's just kind of like, damn. I would say in another world, it would be nice if he would have just met Sachiko and never even met Nana, not gonna lie. Or maybe just never even got with Nana, to where he just waited, stayed single, and then got with Sachiko. I feel like that would have been great, to be honest. That would have been great. But what I will say is, you just never know. Like, sometimes, even though it's fucking messy, bitch, because this is one thing, if we're gonna be so fucking for real, Sachiko, you should not feel safe all the way. Okay? You just shouldn't feel safe all the way, because if he's willing to do that and be messy like that, he might do that to you, girl. He might do it to you. Now, I've heard certain stuff where, it was messy in the beginning and then just was never messy again. I mean, I guess, how some people be like, oh, don't let your boyfriend keep you from your husband. Don't let your girlfriend keep you from your wife. And I'm just like, I mean, I guess you need to break up with them first at least. Sheesh. Okay? But for the most part, you might need to be a little worried, sister. I don't know. You might need to be a little worried, because my thing is this. The thing with Sachiko, it's like the fact that you didn't put that shit in check first and you allowed that shit. Now you got the guy, but you gonna have to be worried. Now you gonna be looking at his motherfucking phone. Now you gonna be worried about his location. When he get home a little bit later than you gonna be like, what the fuck is going on? He probably met another girl, because you remember how y'all got together. So she gonna probably have to be worried. We don't see much of them after that, so we don't really know like that. But I mean, it seemed like they was going good, after the fact. But still, Sachiko, you better hope he don't do the same to you, girl. That's all I'm gonna say. And if he do, hey man, say man, I can't say that, I can't say I'm gonna feel bad. That's all. Y'all live y'all life, have fun now, but that's all I'm gonna say. Because you usually, you lose them how you get them. That's all I'm gonna say. But all in all, hopefully this episode helped, a lot of people get a little bit more clarity on even Shoji's character. You don't have to like him. Mind you, any time that I'm doing an analysis of a character is never to get you to like that person. I don't care. Somebody could analyze something very well, and I could just be like, no, I get the character, I just still don't like them, and that's completely fine. But it's always to clarify or just to enrich the character for you, so you can get the full enchilada. You can have full enchilada and dessert, okay, seconds, thirds, and you still not gonna like the character. That is completely fine, because everybody's gonna have their own opinion. But what I just don't like is when people have very simplistic takes, because either they have misinformation, or either they miscomprehended something, or either lacked reading comprehension or critical thinking skills, I don't know, and then they run with that, and then they act like that's actually what happened. It's just like, oh, well, okay, no, that's not that character, that's not how they're written. Like, Shoji's not written to be a master manipulator. That was never their dynamic. There's multiple times where he could have manipulated her and he just didn't. So that never happened. Or again, when somebody said, oh, he threatened to grape her, he's a terrible person. Okay, that didn't happen. You could not like him because he cheated. That makes perfect sense. But that other stuff didn't happen. So that's what I be talking about. Like, that's the stuff that I be wanting to clear up. But anywho, y'all, hopefully y'all enjoyed y'all time here. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.